Ever feel like no matter how hard you try, it's just never enough? Like there's this voice in your head that's always picking apart your efforts, even when everything looks fine on the outside? If you catch yourself doubting your wins or replaying your mistakes over and over, you might be caught in a cycle of self-criticism without even realizing it. Let's talk about 7 signs that your inner critic might be running the show. First up, the never good enough loop. You finish a project at work, have a chat with a friend, or even just cross something off your to-do list, and instead of feeling accomplished, your mind immediately zeroes in on what you could have done better. You replay every little detail, searching for flaws, feeling like your effort just didn't measure up, even if everyone else is telling you that you did great. Maybe you ace a test but can't stop thinking about that one question you missed, or you host friends at your place and obsess over one awkward moment. This isn't about trying to improve, it's about never letting yourself feel good enough. What's really happening here is your inner critic is drowning out any sense of satisfaction, convincing you that nothing you do is ever truly enough. And where does that lead? Well, let's look at the next sign. Now, here's where things get even tougher, the harsh self-talk spiral. When you make a mistake, no matter how small, your self-talk turns downright mean. Instead of giving yourself a break, you hear things like, "How could you be so clueless?" or "You always mess things up." It's not just disappointment, it's like you're attacking yourself. Maybe you make a simple mistake at work and instead of moving on, you stew over it for hours, calling yourself names in your head. Or you forget a friend's birthday and the guilt just won't let up. This isn't holding yourself accountable, it's emotional self-punishment. And psychologically, this kind of harsh self-talk just reinforces the belief that you're only as good as your last mistake. But sometimes, self-criticism doesn't even sound negative at first. Here's where it gets sneaky. Let's talk about perfectionism in disguise. You set sky-high standards for yourself, not just at work or school, but in your everyday life, too. If things aren't absolutely perfect, it feels like a total failure. Maybe you rewrite your emails over and over, or you put off starting a project because you're afraid it won't turn out just right. Even simple things, like cleaning your room or cooking a meal, can become stressful if they aren't exactly how you pictured. This perfectionism isn't about aiming high, it's about sidestepping your own judgment. Deep down, it's your inner critic in costume, trying to convince you that anything less than perfect simply isn't worth it. Now, let's shift gears a bit and see how this shows up with other people. Here's one you might not expect: downplaying your success. Whenever someone gives you a compliment, it feels awkward, or even wrong. You brush it off, crack a joke, or immediately point out what you did wrong instead. If you land a promotion, you tell yourself it was just luck. If a friend thanks you for being there, you focus on the one thing you forgot to do. This comes from believing that you don't really deserve praise, because your inner critic is always louder than any compliment you get. Over time, this can leave you feeling unseen and unappreciated, no matter how much you accomplish. But there's another sign that's even more common, and it can sneak up on you when you least expect it. Think about this for a second: the constant comparison trap. You're always measuring yourself against everyone around you: friends, coworkers, strangers on social media. If someone else seems happier, more successful, more put together, you immediately feel like you're not doing enough. Scrolling through social media just turns into a highlight reel of all the ways you think you're falling short. You might even ignore your own progress, because it never feels as impressive as what you see in others. This habit is exhausting, and it just gives your inner critic more fuel. The truth is, comparing yourself to others doesn't actually help, it just keeps you stuck in that cycle of self-judgment. So how does this affect the choices you make, day in and day out? Here's the thing, avoiding risks and new things